Did you know that the Mongols could ride for days without stopping, sometimes sleeping on their horses while still galloping across the endless steppe? Or that a single Mongol warrior often had 5 or more horses, switching between them so none would tire too quickly? Even more curious, Mongol horses were so tough they could survive on frozen grass and still run across hundreds of miles without complaint. Speaking of sleep, imagine if your bed got up and started walking while you were snuggled in it. You'd either get the best nap ever or a very strange adventure. But don't worry, this video is meant to do the exact opposite. It's here to lull you gently into the deepest, coziest sleep you've had in ages. So just close your eyes if you want to, or keep them softly open, and let's take a long, slow journey back through time, to a world of rolling plains, whispering grasses, and the steady, comforting rhythm of horse hooves. Long ago, across the vast lands we now call Mongolia, there stretched endless waves of grassland. These open spaces were the perfect home for small, sturdy horses with thick necks, shaggy coats, and gentle, dark eyes. They weren't the tall, sleek horses you might see in a modern race. Mongol horses were more like calm little ponies, built to last through cold winds and long travels. For the people of the Mongol Empire, these horses were everything. They weren't just animals, they were companions, helpers, and the very heartbeat of daily life. A Mongol might begin riding almost as soon as they could walk. Imagine a little child bundled in wool, bouncing gently on a pony, laughing as the breeze brushed their face. Day after day, year after year, these horses carried families from pasture to pasture. They pulled carts, gave milk, and offered warmth on freezing nights. A Mongol might press their cheek against a horse's warm side, feeling comforted by the slow rise and fall of its breath. You can almost hear the soft snort of a horse settling down, the gentle rustle of tails swishing against flies, the low hum of a distant wind. When the Mongol tribes united under Genghis Khan, these humble horses became part of one of the greatest military forces the world has ever seen. The Mongol armies could travel 50 to 100 miles in a single day. That meant waking up in one valley at dawn, riding all day, and sleeping under the stars in a completely new land by nightfall. Their enemies were often stunned. How could horsemen appear so quickly, from so far away? The secret was in how the Mongols cared for their horses. Each warrior brought several horses along, switching between them so none would tire too much. They didn't carry heavy bags of grain. Instead, the horses grazed on wild grasses wherever they stopped. The Mongols would even drink horse milk, and sometimes, in harsh times, they might gently open a vein in a horse's neck to take a small amount of blood, just enough to nourish themselves, without harming the horse. It sounds surprising, but for them, it was simply part of living closely with these amazing animals. So many of the battles the Mongols won were thanks to their deep understanding of horses. They knew how to move in wide circles, shooting arrows from horseback, then suddenly retreating, only to turn back and attack again. This kind of swift, flowing motion would confuse their enemies. If you imagine it slowly, like a dance across the plains, it almost feels soothing, like waves rolling in, then drifting away. Even at night, when campfires glowed under the white sky, horses stood nearby, quietly munching or resting. You might hear the soft creak of leather saddles, the clink of a harness, and low voices murmuring stories about past journeys. The night air would be filled with the scent of grass and smoke. Underneath, horses breathed calm, steady breaths, like a living lullaby. It's peaceful to picture the long lines of riders traveling together across open land. Their shadows stretching far behind them, the soft thud of hooves like a slow heartbeat. The riders would have wrapped themselves in thick cloaks, letting the horse find its way almost on its own. Maybe some even drifted into little naps, lulled by the gentle motion. And maybe now, as you're listening, you can feel yourself growing heavier, more relaxed, as if you're on a calm ride across quiet hills. There's no hurry here. The Mongols didn't race all the time. Many days were slow and simple, moving a herd from one pasture to another, stopping by a creek to let horses drink, listening to birds calling from far away. Horses also gave comfort in other ways. On cold nights, people might press close to them, sharing warmth. A horse's breath in the dark was like a small, living cloud of kindness. For children, the horses were soft pillows, steady friends, protectors against the lonely sweep of the wind. As centuries passed, the Mongol Empire changed, but the bond between people and horses stayed strong. Even today, in Mongolia, you can find riders guiding herds across the same broad steppes. The horses might look almost the same as they did 1,000 years ago, moving with calm patience, flicking their ears at the whispering wind. So you can rest easy now, knowing that somewhere, under another quiet sky, these horses still roam. Their hoofs still drum a steady rhythm into the earth, like a faraway heartbeat meant to soothe you. You don't have to think about it too much. Just let the story drift around you, soft and slow. If your eyes want to close, let them. If your mind wants to wander, let it follow these horses into a gentle dream, across rolling green fields that go on forever. There's nothing you need to do. Just breathe slowly, like the horses do, and let the peaceful world of the Mongol steppe carry you deeper and deeper into rest. Sleep well. Maybe you're still drifting on that peaceful plain, or maybe you've opened your eyes again for just a moment. Either way, it's perfectly fine. We can keep wandering through this gentle world together, with no rush at all. Try to picture the Mongol steppe once more, stretching out in every direction, under a sky so wide it feels endless. There's a hush over everything, as if the land itself is holding its breath. Only the soft shuffle of hooves and a low, comforting snort breaks the quiet. If you listen closely, you might almost hear the grasses sigh as the horses pass by. The Mongol horses, small and sturdy, seem to know exactly where to go. Their steps are sure and patient. They've walked these same paths over countless years, through sun and snow, wind and calm. The riders sit loosely in their saddles, sometimes half dozing, trusting their horses completely. It's almost like the horse and rider are one gentle creature, swaying together with the rhythm of the land. Sometimes the horses pause to graze, tearing up mouthfuls of tough grass with soft crunching sounds. The riders might slip off to stretch or sip milk from a leather pouch. Maybe they exchange quiet words, or maybe they just stand in silence, feeling the calm settle around them. Even the breeze is careful here, moving lightly so it doesn't disturb the stillness. As the sun dips lower, painting long shadows over the ground, campfires begin to glow. Mongol families gather close, their children nestling against warm wool coats. Nearby, the horses stand calmly, eyes half closed, tails flicking gently. You can almost smell the smoke mixing with the scent of horsehair and trampled grass. It's a safe, earthy smell that promises rest. Think of how comforting it must have been to lie down under the stars, listening to horses breathing slow and deep just a few steps away. The sky above would be a huge dark blanket, sprinkled with tiny sparks of light. Every so often, a horse might shift, sending a little ripple through the stillness, like a lullaby in motion. The Mongols lived in round tents called chairs, snug against the wind. Inside, families would share stories, letting their voices drop to whispers so sleep could find them more easily. Outside, the horses kept gentle watch, ears twitching at distant sounds, always ready to move again when morning came. Even on the move, there was a calm sort of trust. The horses carried the people and their hopes, mile after mile, season after season. They crossed rivers where icy water lapped at their legs. They climbed gentle hills where the breeze smelled sweet with flowers. They ambled through valleys where shadows pooled in soft, dark shapes. And always, there was the same steady sound, the quiet thud of hooves, like a slow drumbeat telling you everything was all right. That sound has echoed across centuries, carrying stories of peaceful journeys and gentle nights. You can let that sound drift into your mind now, slow and soft. Imagine it guiding you deeper into rest. If your thoughts wander, that's okay. They can wander like the horses do, finding little paths through grassy fields, pausing to nibble on pleasant memories, then strolling on again without worry. Sometimes people think of the Mongols only as fierce warriors, charging across the land in great thundering waves. But most days were much quieter. They were days of simple riding, of leaning forward to pat a horse's neck, of watching the sky change from blue to gold to dusky purple. Days of families traveling together, laughter floating on the breeze, little songs sung to soothe the heart. The bond between the Mongols and their horses was more than practical, it was tender. A warrior might whisper to his horse, thanking it for its strength. A child might rest their head on a horse's warm side, feeling comforted by its heartbeat. In these small moments, there was a soft, timeless peace. Maybe you can feel that peace now, spreading gently through you. like warm sunlight across your shoulders, or like a soft blanket wrapped around your mind. There's nothing you need to do except breathe slowly, let your body grow heavier, and allow the calm to deepen. Imagine one last quiet scene. The stars are bright, the grass is cool underfoot, and a line of horses stands peacefully, heads lowered. A few riders murmur in low voices, their words blending with the night. Somewhere close by, a mother hums a simple tune, her child already drifting into dreams. The horses breathe in and out, patient and calm. Their breath mixes with the cool air, rising in little puffs that disappear into the sky. Your own breath can be just like that, easy, unhurried, gentle. So if sleep wants to come now, let it. Let yourself drift off on this slow journey across the steppe, carried by a kind old horse who knows the way by heart. There's no end you have to reach, no destination except deeper rest. You're safe here, wrapped up in a story older than any book, rocked by the same soft rhythms that have lulled people and horses to sleep for hundreds and hundreds of years. Good night. Let the past hold you kindly, and may your dreams be as wide and peaceful as the open Mongolian plains. Maybe your mind is still wandering with those riders under the starry sky, or maybe it's begun to drift somewhere even softer, where dreams start to bloom. That's perfectly fine. We're in no hurry at all. We can simply stay here a little longer, in this calm, endless space together. If you like, picture the dawn beginning to stir on the Mongolian steppe. The first light is pale and delicate, spreading across the horizon with a tender hand. Horses stand quietly, their breath making tiny clouds in the chilly morning air. A few lift their heads, ears twitching, while others remain still, soaking up the last moments of rest. Nearby, riders begin to stir, slowly, as if they too are reluctant to break the peaceful hold of sleep. They stretch stiff arms, pat down their coats, and speak in hushed tones so as not to startle the horses. There's something gentle about these early moments, a shared understanding that the day will unfold soon enough, so there's no need to rush it. Maybe you can let that same gentleness ease into your own body. Let your shoulders soften, your jaw loosen, and feel a little more weight sink into your bed. Like a traveler settling into a comfortable saddle, trusting the horse to carry them wherever they need to go. Throughout history, the Mongol people depended on these small but mighty horses for every part of life. In battle, yes, but far more often in the quiet tasks that filled most days. Moving herds from one pasture to the next. Carrying water from a distant stream. Bringing loved ones together across wide, empty lands. Each horse knew its rider well, and each rider trusted their horse without question. Imagine how steady that must have felt. The same familiar gait under you every day, the same soft mane to gripping your hand, the same warm shoulder brushing against your leg. Over time, horse and rider learned each other's hearts. No need for sharp commands, just a little shift of weight, a soft word, and the horse would understand. When night came again, families gathered inside their round tents. Outside, the horses formed a quiet ring, like gentle guardians. You could lie down on a thick blanket, close your eyes, and hear them breathing, slow and deep. That sound would fill the darkness, wrapping you up in a kind of living lullaby. And if you listen for it now, just in your imagination, you might notice a slow, peaceful rhythm. A horse's heart beating. Hooves pressing into the earth with patient steps. A rider's calm breath. Your own breath, joining in, matching that quiet tempo. There's something very old and comforting about knowing that long before clocks or cities or glowing screens, people were lulled to sleep by these same gentle sounds. A horse cropping grass in the moonlight. The wind moving through dry reeds. A mother's voice humming an old, slow tune. And even if you hear other noises around you now, maybe a car passing outside, or the faint tick of a clock, you can let them drift by like clouds over the steppe. They're not in any hurry, and neither are you. You can just stay here, floating in this calm story a little longer. Sometimes, on the steppe, a rider might stop and simply stand beside their horse, looking out at the horizon. There might be nothing there, no trees, no houses, just the endless roll of land meeting the endless bowl of sky. But in that emptiness was a kind of gentle promise. That life would keep moving at its own patient pace. That the horse beneath you would carry you onward. That the sun would set and rise again, and you would have all the time you needed. If your thoughts wander off now, that's perfectly all right. Let them wander like little horses, finding soft patches of grass to nibble, then lifting their heads to look around before wandering on. There's no wrong path here. And if you find yourself circling back to the same gentle images, that's good too. A horse's warm breath on a chilly morning. The heavy hush of dusk settling over the camp. The soft drum of hooves on packed earth, steady and untroubled. All of this belongs to you right now, as a kind of gift from the past. A memory you never had to live through to find comfort in. Just the thought of it can cradle you, rocking you deeper towards sleep. Some nights on the steppe were bright with moonlight, silvering the horses' backs, making the grass gleam like tiny stars. Other nights were dark and close, with the sky so full of clouds it felt like a heavy blanket. But either way, people slept soundly, trusting their horses to keep watch, knowing that when they woke, life would go on as it always did, quiet, simple, and full of small, dependable joys. So if your eyes want to close now, let them. If they want to stay half open, gazing at some soft point in the room, that's all right too. You're as safe here as if you were curled up in a warm tent on the steppe, with friendly horses forming a circle around you. Their bodies block the wind, their soft noises fill the night, and you can drift off at any moment, knowing there's nothing you need to do. No battle to fight, no destination to reach, no reason at all to hurry. Sleep can come as slowly or as quickly as it likes. Like a gentle horse trotting up to nuzzle your shoulder, then lowering itself down to rest beside you. You can breathe out now, maybe a little longer than before, and let your body grow heavier. Feel yourself sinking deeper into this quiet world. If dreams come, let them be as wide and calm as the plains, with friendly horses carrying you across fields that seem to go on forever. And if you wake for a moment, that's fine too, you can always return to this soft place, again and again. Good night, dear listener. May the simple kindness of horses and the slow heartbeat of the earth guide you to the sweetest, most restful sleep. Maybe you're still half awake in this calm world we've built together, or maybe you've already drifted somewhere soft and weightless, or even thoughts move slowly. Either way, you're welcome to stay right here, floating on the gentle edges of sleep, while we let this quiet story keep unfolding. Imagine now that the sun has risen fully over the steppe, bathing everything in a soft gold light. The horses move with easy grace, heads bobbing slightly, tails swishing through the cool morning air. You might picture how their breath still puffs out in little clouds that quickly vanish, leaving only warmth inside their bodies and inside yours, too, as you breathe along with them. These Mongol horses weren't flashy or delicate. They were sturdy, with thick necks and short legs, perfect for the rolling grasslands that went on and on without end. Some had patches of white or spots of brown, while others were solid dark, almost blending into the shadows when evening came. Each one had its own quiet spirit, its own slow wisdom from years of roaming under the endless sky. And those riders wrapped in heavy coats, boots snug against the cold, they didn't always speak as they traveled. Often, they simply listened. To the whisper of wind across the grass. To the low murmur of a horse's breath. To the small creaks and clicks of leather straps, like a gentle tune being played just for them. You can almost hear it now if you want to. A soft soundtrack meant to soothe, to keep your mind company without asking anything in return. Maybe as they rode, they let their thoughts wander, too. They might have remembered a warm fire waiting in the next camp. Or the face of someone they loved, smiling beneath the same white sky. Or simply nothing at all, just the peaceful rhythm of hoofbeats, carrying them forward. And now, you can let your thoughts be like that, too. Light and easy. Not pushing or pulling. Just floating alongside the slow journey, carried wherever this gentle story wants to go. Sometimes on the steppe, the day would turn misty, with little curls of fog wrapping around horse legs, drifting up to tickle a rider's hands. Everything looked softer then, as though the world itself was trying to lull them into a calm, half-dreaming state. Maybe your own mind feels a bit like that now, edges blurring, thoughts coming and going like slow-moving clouds. At night, the Mongol families would gather again, drawing their tents close together. Inside, the air was warm with breath and quiet laughter. Outside, the horses stood patiently, heads lowered, eyes half shut. If a breeze stirred the grass, they might flick an ear, then settle right back into stillness. Picture how comforting that would be to know that all around you were these steady creatures, standing guard without even trying. Their calm was so deep it seemed to spill into everything nearby, soaking the ground, rising into the air, curling around every sleeping person like a gentle promise. You can let that same calm drift over you now. Let your shoulders drop a little more. Let your breath slow down just a bit. There's truly nothing you have to do, no place you have to go. Just resting here is enough. When morning came again on the steppe, it often did so with very little fuss. The sun climbed quietly, the horses stretched their legs, and life went on in that same soft rhythm. If you were there, you might have woken to the sound of hoofs shifting in the grass, or the tiny clink of a harness, or even the warm sigh of someone nearby stirring from sleep. All simple, tender sounds, reminding you that you weren't alone. Maybe it's nice to think that all across the centuries, people have felt sleepy under the same kinds of skies, with the same low sounds to comfort them. A horse breathing. A wind sighing through dry grass. A person humming a little tune without even realizing it. And maybe right now, you're feeling that same peaceful pull. As if your own heart has started to match the steady beat of horse hooves on earth, slow and sure and patient. You can stay here as long as you like. In this story, the horses never hurry. They move in calm lines across the plains, stopping whenever they please, grazing in little groups, lifting their heads to sniff the wind. There's always time. Even the riders know this. They might pause for hours, letting their horses rest, watching birds drift overhead. They understood that rushing only made journeys harder. It was better to trust in the quiet pace of life, to know that wherever they were going, they'd get there soon enough. You can take that lesson into your own breath now. Let it be slow, as if you have all the time in the world. Because here, you truly do. If your mind wants to replay some of these images, horses standing in moonlight, children curled up beside them, a vast plain humming with tiny life, let it. Each thought can be like a small, friendly horse wandering through your dreams, soft-eyed and unhurried. And if your body feels heavier now, that's a gift. It means you're relaxing, giving into gravity and comfort. Maybe you'll drift off completely soon. Or maybe you'll hover here on the edge a while longer, half in this story, half in your own warm bed. Either way, you're safe. Watched over by a circle of calm horses, guarded by a story that has traveled through centuries just to keep you company tonight. So let go, a little more with each breath. Let the soft weight of the past settle around you, like a cozy blanket made of old grass and quiet journeys. Good night again. May your sleep be as wide and gentle as the steppe, and may you wake to find a piece of this calm still resting quietly in your heart. Maybe you're still hovering on the edge of dreams, drifting between this world and the one where calm horses wander under an endless sky. Or maybe you've woken just a little, your mind still wrapped in the softness of the story we've been telling. That's perfectly fine. There's no need to hurry away. We can stay here a while longer, letting the peaceful images circle back, again and again, like gentle hoofs tracing the same quiet path. Try to see it once more in your mind, the vast steppes stretching out in all directions, a rolling sea of grasses that sigh whenever the wind passes through. Tiny flowers sometimes dot the ground, little splashes of yellow or white that look almost like stars fallen to earth. Horses move slowly across this landscape, heads low, tails brushing the air, ears flicking to catch each tiny sound. Their movements are unhurried, almost thoughtful. Each step seems chosen with care, even if they've taken this path 100 times before. If you listen closely, maybe you can imagine the soft crunch of grass beneath their hooves, or the quiet huff of breath as they exhale. Riders sit loosely in their saddles, cloaks wrapped around them, faces turned toward the horizon. They aren't pushing their horses hard. There's no chase, no desperate race across the land, just a calm, steady progress that carries them wherever they need to go. It's a kind of trust. Trust in their horses, trust in the land, trust that everything will unfold in its own gentle time. And that's a trust you can borrow right now. Trust that your body knows how to rest. That your breath will slow all on its own. That sleep will come when it's ready, soft and certain. At night, the world on the steppe becomes even quieter. The sun slips away, and a cool blue darkness spreads over the grass. Horses stand in small clusters, sides pressed close, sharing warmth without even thinking about it. Sometimes one gives a little shake, sending ripples through its mane. Sometimes another shifts its weight, a tiny creak of leather or soft jingle of a strap breaking the hush for just a moment. And then everything settles again. A deep, collective exhale. Imagine lying nearby, wrapped in thick blankets, hearing these small sounds. Each one is like a gentle signal telling you that all is well. The horses aren't alarmed. The riders aren't worried. The night holds no threats, just a calm vastness, dotted with quiet lives all breathing together under the same patient sky. Maybe you can feel how your own breathing slows to match. In and out. Soft and steady, like hoofs pressing into earth, lifting again, pressing down once more. Over and over, a rhythm that's been part of the world for thousands of years. The Mongols knew this rhythm well. Their entire way of life flowed around it. Horses were not just tools or property, they were friends, guides, even protectors. A horse could carry a tired child on its back all day, then stand through the night with that same gentle patience, keeping watch over the family as they slept. When the sun returned, spilling gold over everything, it would catch in the horses' manes, turning them into little rivers of light. Riders would rise slowly, stretching arms still heavy from sleep. They'd speak in low voices, share a bit of milk or a piece of bread, then mount up again and begin the day's quiet journey. And so it went, day after day, year after year. A long, soft pattern of moving and resting, of sharing the world with these calm, sturdy creatures. You can let that slow pattern wrap around you now, like a favorite old blanket. Let it soothe away any leftover edges of wakefulness. If your thoughts want to wander back through some of the same images, horses grazing, children dozing, fires glowing under a dome of stars, that's perfectly fine. Each return is like tracing a gentle circle, coming back to something safe and familiar. Or maybe your mind starts to drift into its own scenes, weaving together bits of this story with your own gentle dreams. A horse's warm breath might turn into a soft breeze across your cheek. The hush of the steppe might become the hush of your own bedroom at night. That's part of the comfort, letting the story mix with your inner world, becoming whatever you most need it to be. You can imagine, too, how even the Mongol horses themselves might have dreamed. Maybe as they dozed on their feet, their ears twitched at memories of rivers crossed, pastures found, playful races through young spring grass. Maybe their hearts beat a little faster, then slowed again, settling back into peace. You can let your own heart do the same, rise and fall, then find the deep, quiet place where everything slows down. So rest here a little longer. Let yourself be part of this calm world for as many breaths as you need. The horses are in no rush, and neither are we. We can stay on this gentle steppe as long as you like, wrapped in the softness of night, listening to 1,000 small heartbeats moving slowly under the stars. And if sleep finds you fully now, that's perfect. Let it lead you wherever it wishes, over gentle hills, beside cool rivers, through fields of whispering grass. If you wake again, you'll know you can always return to this same story, pick up these same tender threads, and wander here all over again. Good night once more. May your dreams be as calm and steady as the horses who carried the hopes of countless travelers across the vast, quiet steppe. May you wake rested, with a little piece of this peace still glowing softly inside you.